Would you like to introduce yourself and what platforms can we reach you on?
Hello to everyone at home. I'm LucisDoom. I am a digital artist, and you can find me on Newgrounds or by the same nickname, LucisDoom, LucisDoom.
All right. Now, what programs do you use, and would you recommend them?
Before I used to have Krita, which is quite a nice software, but then I got a free trial of Clip Studio Paint, which I really liked, so I saved up and bought a permanent copy. Both Krita and Clip Studio are great programs. Now, Krita has a more realistic brushes, like it has a 3D oil paint texture brush and like all sorts of canvas brushes, which is great, and it's got a different engine to run these brushes, so there's a different effect. And Clip Studio Paint has got a lot of nice features, like it's got some sort of mannequins in 3D to reference off of, and 3D objects also to aid you with drawing. Both are great in their own ways, but I prefer Clip Studio as of now.
I didn't even know you could do that in Clip Studio. Shoot, if I had Clip Studio, I would start using that over Krita. That sounds crazy.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's a great program.
Now, what's it like for you being an artist?
It's a hobby, I guess. I am pursuing a different professional career. It is a career for me, but in a different way, so to speak. I am an art historian and archaeologist, so I research art, but I also do art on the side. But it's a very small thing for me as of now. It used to be bigger, but right now I don't really have the same amount of inspiration and time as I used to have before. But art is still very important to me, just that it's made by other people now more than before, if I'm expressing myself correctly. Art right now is a little hobby on the side. I never really planned to have it as a career, but I draw as an outlet for myself, and also as a way to amuse other people most of the time. I used to bring a big freaking sketchbook to class and just sit there with my friend and doodle little local memes we had, and I had whole sketchbooks of that. And I also like to draw my characters, like doing things. It's very fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good time that you and your friends had. It also sounds like it's just a very fun thing to do on the side. How is it like being an archaeologist? Tell me more about that.
Being an archaeologist is quite interesting. You need to have a sort of geological knowledge as well as historical. In archaeology, you have to be very mindful of like periods and typologies, because archaeology often touches on times before writing was invented, so like the Neolithic times. So you don't really have the writings to give a date and a style to whatever you find. Currently, I'm more interested in the Roman Empire, which is a bit easier for me because we've got all these sorts of historical writings and other sorts of witnessings to, you can find, with writing, you can always find not only like books, other related written things, but you can also see coins with the names on them. And this is how they found actually a lost Roman emperor recently. I don't recall the name, but it's a very interesting thing. Also, with archaeology of like ancient Rome and ancient Greece, you start seeing that art is like a little bit of a repeating circle, but there's always new additions to it, which makes it a little bit different and original. As in, masters over the time have copied the ideals of the past. Used to be more prevalent in Renaissance and the 19th century than anything, but there was also traces of that in the 20th century with like Giorgio di Chirico or Chirico. It's an Italian name. I can't really pronounce it, but you get it.
The history and stuff and everything is like really cool. I love just like watching videos about it. Tell me, how would you get into something like this as profession?
Well, I haven't really thought of a profession yet, but I've been thinking of becoming either a teacher, which I'll have to work on my communication skills for that, or a sort of museum employee as like a conservator or a commissary.
Yeah, like tour people around and stuff.
Yeah, a guide could also be cool, but right now it's a profession in extinction because museums are kind of like doing their own little like things that you can listen to on the go. So guide, and also as a guide, you aren't really employed by the museum. Most of the time, it's more of a freelance job. So I'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, I'm thinking of like getting employed in somewhere in Russia, where I was born, in Tretyakov Gallery or in the Pushkin Museum, which are two of my favorite museums in my hometown, Moscow.
Okay, I hope everything turns out great for you because I would love for everyone to get to where they want to be in life and do their dream job. You know, no one wants to be stuck doing something they don't like.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be a good thing for me. I do love art, but recently I haven't been able to really inspire myself to produce anything original. So I'm kind of just happy looking at the original creations that other people have made.
It's always a nice thing too to like stand on the side because like you can take in like all these ideas that you see other people doing and then you can make you may make something that's like really awesome and attract like a lot of eyes just from doing that.
Output artists, well known right now, but maybe not as much in their prime creation time. They have been actually like people with a really like stuffy and maybe a little bit sad life condition, people in hospitals or people with like working a really low wage jobs, and they would just come home and indulge themselves in art. Particular way of expressing themselves made them outside of like their little world that they projected onto room or anywhere else.
All right. Now, what got you into archaeology?
Oh, it's been a thing since I was like 6 years old. I've actually been a big fan of dinosaurs. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And from paleontology, I kind of got into Greek mythology and like Greek traces of Greek civilizations, if you will. I really liked Greek myths and like statues of Greek gods, and that kind of resurfaced when I, as a teenager, fresh out of high school, was looking for something to continue my education because it didn't really work out with art school. I've been in design school before, and I didn't really like it, and art school didn't accept me. So next best thing I could think of was getting into archaeology and art history. To everyone watching, if you ever feel like you don't have life conditions or the material to draw, don't worry about it. Art Brut artists have been drawing on printer sheets or writing paper. Now there's post-mortem, but there's big expositions of their work, so you'll be able to make it in the art world if you just let your creativity run.
That's actually some really good advice because I feel like everyone is thinking, oh man, I need this or I need that to draw or, be an artist or anything. But no, if you look at all these other art forms that predate the stuff that we have now, there was people making like really good stuff.